This is the High School Football America podcast for July the 12th, 2019. I'm Jeff Fisher, and it's Flashback Friday at highschoolfootballamerica.com. We started this feature last week as we spotlighted Herschel Walker during his days in Georgia high school football. Today we go to Texas, the Lone Star State, to talk to Craig James, who I interviewed for my book, High School Football in Texas, Amazing Football Stories from the Greatest Players of Texas, which is still on sale at Barnes & Noble online and also online at Amazon. And Craig James had an incredible senior season in 1978 at Stratford High School, which is in Houston, Texas, leading his team to a Class 4A state championship. Back in the day, 4A was the largest classification in the state of Texas, and Craig James, well, he was a shining star with a record-breaking year that saw him shatter Earl Campbell's Class 4A rushing record, and James is one of 50 former NFL players that I featured in my book. Now, during our chat for the book, James repeatedly talked about how good that 78 Stratford Spartan team was. In fact, James and many of his teammates from that team still get together to reminisce about that magical season that saw the Spartans rack up more than 7,000 yards rushing as a team from its wishbone formation. Stratford scored 532 points, the second most ever at that time in Class 4A, which is now 6A, of course, in the state of Texas. James running for 2,411 yards. Campbell's record was 2,036 yards. The most amazing thing about James was he only carried the ball about 13 to 15 times a game because during the regular season, A, they spread the ball around, and B, they had a lot of blowouts. And one of the big thrills for the team was the fact that its state championship game against Plano was played before 30,000 fans at the Astrodome, which gave the Spartans a little bit of a home field advantage there in Houston. Playing a huge role in the victory was James with only 13 carries. Again, he didn't carry the ball a whole lot, 168 yards. He scored 2 first-half touchdowns, giving Stratford a 13-7 lead over Plano. His 80-yard touchdown run in the third quarter blew the game wide open. The final score 29-13. James is a member of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And now I'll sit back and listen to a snippet from my interview with Craig James talking about that incredible 1978 season.
If anything is to be remembered about our state championship team was our friendship, our bond, and our teamwork. Mm-hmm. You know, I know that I get a lot of the recognition, but truly I get that because of what everyone did.
You know, take me back, maybe just to, high school in general. Does 78 stand out as the great one, or are there some other memories from back then, whether it was during your junior year or not, that, aside from those wonderful relationships and that? What comes to mind when I say take me back to Stratford, late 70s?
Great times. If I could do it, if the Lord said, Craig, you can go back and play one more football season from your career, what would it be? It would be 1978 and our state championship team. I have said before that the Stratford team, that championship team, was better than the conference championship teams that I played on at SMU. It was better than my Super Bowl team with the Patriots, making it apples and apples. But we were just a really good team, and one that worked for each other together. Oscar Cripps, our head coach, had a saying, "It's amazing how much can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit." Mm-hmm. And I think we bought into that.
And it seems like offensively from the one story, now you guys ran the wishbone, right?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, you break a record of a huge number that you put up for, breaking Earl's number and all that. But it seems like this was a juggernaut. I mean, 500 plus points and all that. Tell me a little bit about when you guys first kind of realized that if you kind of bought into what Coach was saying, that you all would have great numbers, because it seemed like yours gets touted because of the NFL and where you went after that. But it seems like, give me some of the other guys within the mix there on offense.
Well, I think early in our high school days. I don't want to say, maybe even dating back to our sophomore year, which a lot of young teams and players probably think, hey, we got it. We're going to win state. But we bought into the state in 78 campaign. And we just had a lot of hard workers. We put in the grind hours. And we're committed to sacrificing, to be prepared. Whatever that meant, we were all in. We had our quarterback, Mark Gabrish. I played with a very good option quarterback at SMU, but Mark was every bit as good as my college option quarterback. He just had that it. He had the ability to run it, to throw it. He had the poise and the charisma. He really had the poise to be able to handle the offensive coordinator, Bob French, who was really demanding.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't have that kind of composure, then we wouldn't have been. Our trigger guy was the quarterback.
Interesting. Now, you guys also did something pretty cool, which was the beating 3 state championship teams along the way, I believe. Did that kind of resonate then, or is it something that as history moves on, you go like, wow, that's a pretty good accomplishment? I mean, what did you guys think of it in the moment?
And in the moment, I don't know that we respected our opponents, but I don't know that we ever said, wow, you know what, we just beat Churchill, or that was Plano. Because we felt we were the best.
Mm-hmm.
And being a very young new school, I think maybe Stratford opened in like 75 or something.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we were the new kids on the block, and we had a confidence about us that we were the team that was supposed to win, and we were going to win. We expected to win.
So was there a game in that season that kind of told everyone, or at least in your own mind, wow, this is something special? The goal that we set out as sophomores, it is coming together. Is there any of those games? I know you love the winning, hoisting the trophy at the end, but is there one before that, or is it
Yes.
the championship game?
Couple of games here, Jeff. I think it was our first game of the year against Port Neches. Port Neches Groves, the Indians were and are, I think they're still legendary. But Port Neches was a great team. They'd won state. They were really good, and we had tremendous respect for Port Neches. Of all the teams that we played, they were really the bell cow. We went to Port Neches to open up, and it was a hot, humid, ultra-humid night. And we started cramping up as players in the second half. And it was a back-and-forth game at night, and I remember breaking on what would have been an 80-yard touchdown. We ran the option. I get the pitch, and I'm gone. And about 20 yards into it, I literally locked up both legs, cramped, and it just kind of funny, me falling off into their sidelines. And Gabrish had to, that's where the team stuff came in. Gabrish stayed hydrated, did not cramp up, and carried us through that second half to a victory. And the defense, we're a really, really, to this day, very close team. We still, through social media, we all get together, we talk, we communicate, and now we all joke about, the defense always says, hey, we won state, not the offense. You guys get, the numbers. It was the defense. And they really were. That's a very true statement. Our defense was excellent. And in that particular game, the defense and Gabrish had to really step up for us to win, which I think showed how much depth we had, and that we weren't just a couple of guys on a team.
And that is Craig James on our Flashback Friday feature that you'll find more about on highschoolfootballamerica.com. And again, Craig is featured in our book, High School Football in Texas, Amazing Football Stories from the Greatest Players of Texas. I interviewed more than 50 former NFL players, past and present, only talking about their high school football memories. I think you'll enjoy this one. Again, available online at Barnes & Noble and also at Amazon. So be sure you go there and pick it up. It's a great read, great way to start the 2019 high school football season. That's going to do it for today. Tune in tomorrow at highschoolfootballamerica.com or on iTunes, Stitcher, or TuneIn Radio. And you're going to hear the coach of the number one team in the High School Football America preseason 100, Bruce Rollinson of Mater Dei. The Monarchs have won the last two High School Football America mythical national championships. That and more tomorrow on the High School Football America podcast.